Well, it has been a while since we have featured or aired an episode of our feature, Everyone Has a Story, a series recreated to introduce you to your neighbors with interesting lives. News 19's Heather Armstrong showed you the first part of this last night. Tonight, we tell you how George Floyd's death brought back some painful memories for one member of that couple. Heather?
Well, Scott, more than 50 years ago, a La Crosse man says he was subjected to racism over and over again. For 30 years, he's been married to a white woman, and throughout that time, the two say they've experienced both subtle and in-your-face racism. After the death of George Floyd, the two said enough was enough and decided to speak up.
Jonathan and Laurie moved to La Crosse 8 years ago with the intention to just settle in and live a quiet life. But now they believe they were sent here for a reason, to help kids, black kids, who Jonathan says shouldn't be dealing with racism.
They're kids, and I feel the urge and the need to help them and stand up for them and speak and do the right things. How I speak to people, how I carry myself every day is setting an example. It's a burden.
You wouldn't know it from his sunny disposition, but Jonathan has seen a thing or two. In 1959, when he was 5, his mother met Lee May, a Major League Baseball player with a famous song on the radio.
Love me when I am in your arms.
Lee played 11 seasons in the majors as an outfielder for 5 teams, including the Chicago White Sox and the Milwaukee Braves. When they moved to Milwaukee, they were the only black family on their block. But in Houston, things were very different. School was another eye-opening experience.
I was chasing a young girl around, just teasing her, and the assistant principal kind of yelled at me and put me in my place and told me to go stand by a door and go into the hallway. I walked into the hallway, and as I went to go lean up against the wall, I saw the word "go home" written on the wall. All I did was turn my back and lean up against that wall and cover it up.
And later that day, the same thing, only this time directly in his face.
And I was hustling and bustling for a third place to bat, and people started calling me, and I picked up a baseball bat and started swinging it to protect myself, and the coach stopped us. That was my first day in junior high school gym class.
Back then, black players were not only underpaid, but they were mistreated and forced to play injured. It's no excuse, but Lee May took it out on his stepson. Eventually, their fights got so bad that Jonathan moved out. That was more than 50 years ago, when the pressure and the pain of being black affected everyone in different ways. After George Floyd's death, Jonathan says he was reminded of the pain he experienced back then. And now it's affecting Laurie, too.
It's 2020. How dare these people still have thoughts like this? It's 2020.
I'm tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Despite the current state of affairs and what some people might think, the couple say they're a perfect match.
The only thing that's different about us is our age and our skin color. We're both weird. We both wear glasses. We both love music. We both love racing. We both love animals. We both love gardening. I mean, that's the only thing that's different about us. We're weird. So why not find your weird mate and be weird together?
And partner up with someone who wants change just as much as you do. And if you're still unsure how to do that, Jonathan has what he calls a simple suggestion.
I want you to look at people with a fresh eye, say hello, ask where you're from, what do you do? Sometimes you get a good answer, sometimes you don't. But engage. We're all the same people.
In case you haven't noticed, Jonathan is a happy, positive man that lives with gratitude. He's also optimistic about our youth and their ability to make change. Laurie says since she has started being vocal on the topic of race, people have asked her some very interesting questions, and she says she's fine with that because having the conversation is better than pretending that race doesn't exist. Scott?
All right, thanks, Heather. Now, if Laurie looks familiar, the name sounds familiar, she did manage the Valley View Mall in La Crosse for 7 years. She is now the assistant manager for the Cameron Park Farmers Market. As for Jonathan, he works as a bartender at the Charmant Hotel.